catching up to do on Formula One this week.
Okay. And I know Lewis Hamilton qualified in 17th.
hmm I mean, they're also
Because,
racing in an active war zone. No big deal.
and in an active war zone on a street circuit with no barriers, in
Uh-huh.
the fastest cars possible.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's been a pretty bad day for racing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh boy. Good times. Hello everyone. Hello internet. How's it going?
Uh,
Oh man. Okay. Hello there, Zachary Z. All right, are you ready to get started?
maybe. Don't have the show notes open yet. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Hold on.
We got
I
we
gotta
got some
click
stuff in the
this
show notes this week.
and then figure out where it is and then move it into the relevant space so I can click backwards and forwards smoothly between the stream and this.
That's right. Got to organize your tabs correctly.
That's a 6 hour task, dude. Like,
How many tabs do you have open right now?
how many tabs or groups of tabs? Because that's a different question.
I think you answered my question. Enough said.
I have a nice little purple one which I click open whenever the show's ready, so I can just ignore everything else on this
I like
list.
it. Purple's a good color. I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Okay, I'm ready whenever you are. I guess
All right.
maybe. Who knows?
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpear.
Hello.
Nimp is out this week, taking a vacation. It's important to take some time for yourself, says the guy who has been on the show for 753 episodes straight. Don't worry about it. No big deal.
Uh-huh.
You should be worrying about marching on over to patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers, I hate you so much.
Marketing. Recommended tier over there is the $5 a month tier, not per episode, per month. We'd be raking in the cash if it was per episode, because you guys, you get a lot of episodes a week, like the exclusive Outcast. That's the uncensored stuff we talk about before we go live here. Talked a lot about TV shows and movies this week. Mr. Moon and I did. You
Uh-huh.
can get that over there. That's a Patreon exclusive. You also get the 2-week early access to We Roguelike at the show where Moon and I are playing probably every roguelike in history. Wink.
No, stop that.
Maybe. That's at least what we're telling you. And ourselves. Every roguelike until ZHP comes out. And then we'll go out on a
Isn't
real
CHP
banger.
out now?
Who knows? I don't know. I can't keep track. You get early access to Critical Misses, show where Moon and I are catching up on all the media hits we missed. We just wrapped season 12. That'll be out for patrons here over the next couple of weeks. Also, if you're at the $5 or higher tier, that means we'll be recording a patron exclusive production meeting for what we're going to figure out to record during season 13. So those have been turning out pretty well. This will be our third one. That's where we talk about what we're going to record, talk about all the stuff we have in our giant spreadsheet, kind of how the show's going. You want a real kind of chill peek behind the kind of peek behind the curtain there. That's all at patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones are numbers.
Zachary Z in chat says, so I know E1M1 is a Doom reference. How come you didn't go with TVGP as a link on Patreon? Good question. Because I can't stop a lot of other people using TVGP for their stuff. And a lot of other people that are using TVGP for stuff are using it for bad stuff. So, I don't have a lawyer on retainer or anything, so using E1M1 is a little bit easier for me to kind of control a little bit. Stop using TVGP out there, especially for like gross YouTube stuff. I am not cool
Yep.
with that. 2 thumbs down.
It's literally the reason why we actually produce so much content. You guys don't know this is so we can flood Google with all
That's
of
right.
our content
That's
and
right.
just force everybody else off the main page.
That's right. No more podcasts left. It's just us. Just us and Conan O'Brien. Woof. All right. Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Did you really just reference Conan O'Brien and not the guy who plays Elf when you're talking about new podcasts? Like,
Oh my
talk
god,
about
don't even get me
nail on the head.
started. I'm gonna make 4 episodes this year and I'm gonna get paid $30 million for it. That sounds right. They called it a fledgling, the podcast,
Yeah, I
a
know.
fledgling thing. They've been going for 20 years. Oh my god.
It's a fledgling industry, don't you know?
Yep.
We literally put out 752 episodes this year. That's how
Yeah, but
fledgling
we
it is.
started at 750, so like we faked our way into it.
We comic book numbered. That's what we did.
That's right. The new TVGP, episode 1.
Don't even suggest
The
that.
new 52, episode 1.
That is for your kid to start. That's not. That's nobody else's responsibility but your kid.
That's right. God. Crystal TVGP,
Anyway.
episode 1.
Oh, go away from me with crystals as well, please. Now hold on a minute. You see, now you've distracted me, and now I have to write down like 4 show titles.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I referenced.
All at once.
I brought back the specter of Crystal Pepsi, so now we gotta talk about that.
I'd never had Crystal Pepsi. Was it just Pepsi that was see-through?
Largely, it was fine. It tasted a little bit different. I liked it, but I like Pepsi to begin with. So,
because I'm a soda drinker, which is why I don't keep it in the house.
right.
Otherwise, it will be gone.
Right.
And I like my sugar water black. I don't care what flavor it is. Just give me some black sugar water.
Right.
I'm like the guy from Men in Black. Sugar in water.
That's
and
right.
Pour a Coke and I'm just like, perfect.
Yep.
Anyway, what have I been playing this week? I played some Destiny 2.
How's Destiny 2 going?
I think I finished the seasonal stuff missions. You mentioned whenever you talk about Destiny 2 on the show, I tend to not listen unless it's something specifically between the two of us.
Sure.
Mostly because I hate the fact I'm about to say this, I don't want the Destiny 2 story spoiled for me.
We gotcha.
Do you think, if you think that's got me, wait until you hear about my super secret plan of things that I'm working on in the background, which if you are in the Destiny 2 Discord channel, that's Discord, TVGP, search for us, find us,
That's right.
best community on the internet.
Exclamation mark Discord in chat. I'll do it while we're here.
Yeah, I literally have chat open. I should have just done it. You may or may not have seen hints in there about what my secret plan is. However, that is one thing aside from the other. But you were talking about something that happened, I think it was either last week or the week before, a major part of the seasonal storyline. Something happened that
Like a
has
big story
massive
beat.
ramifications for the world.
Right.
I hit that moment.
Gotcha.
I'm assuming I hit that moment.
There's like a pre-rendered cutscene.
And there's a stop kind of gesture. And do this instead. Yeah, that moment happened.
Yeah, Crow makes a mistake.
Yes.
Yeah.
As Crow is wont to do.
Right.
Funnily enough, the Destiny 2 Crow, full of mistakes. Real life Crows steal your money. Perfect people.
Also, I'm really, this is maybe a bit inside baseball. I'm really grumpy with the Destiny community saying like Crow needs to go, like kick out Crow, get rid of him. But like the whole seasonal storyline has largely centered around how much mercy do we give our enemies when they're showing us none? Like how do you humanely treat the monsters that you're fighting against, even if treating them a little bit inhumanely will save a whole bunch of lives? And as a result, Crow kind of makes a mistake when the mission is over, and there are some clear ramifications, but I feel like a lot of people that haven't been paying attention to the story aren't realizing that this dude who was mind controlled for a really long time isn't crazy about mind control and maybe wants us to stop doing that. Weird.
It's kind of weird how showing a PTSD-like effect can be not understood very well by large majority of people. Also, out of curiosity, these stories take a long time to write and plan and stuff like that. And when this season started, what on February 12th or whatever it was?
Like a month ago, I think.
Okay. I'm just checking because the storyline and real world parallels that are happening in this game are a little bit scary at times. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah,
It's kind of odd.
I do have to give Bungie a lot of credit that after the first 4 weeks, the seasonal storyline stuff is over, which I think is a real positive because there's a whole bunch of stuff to do with Witch Queen already. They told a really concise and really great story in those 4 weeks, and then they're kind of like, it's done. The season doesn't end until the end of May, so like you got a bunch of time to catch up and do what you want, and all the seasonal activity stuff will last until the next expansion comes out, so like a year from now. But you know, take your time and get through the story when you can, which is nice.
Yeah, which is pretty much what I'm doing. I'm trying to get that light level up so I'm not such a downgrade for when I need to be subbed in.
Mm-hmm.
And also catching up on Witch Queen stuff that I'm missing. I've still not done a single Wellspring activity. No idea what those are.
Wellspring is like a match made 6-person activity. It alternates every day, so one day you're attacking the Wellspring and one day you're defending the Wellspring from attackers. It's pretty fun. It's not bad.
Okay. But yeah, a bunch of Destiny 2. Rainbow Six Extraction.
Yes.
Is my next game. Played this with Rob yesterday, I think it was. So we went in on the easiest difficulty. We rescued our peeps.
Nice.
Brought them back out, which is good. And then we had a pretty solid night, to be honest. Like, we had a pretty successful night. We were doing a couple of two out of 4-star difficulties, doing pretty well, wiping the floor with some people. And then, because I got cocky, I decided, well, let's just try a 3-star difficulty on a brand new map.
Okay. Is that the hardest difficulty?
4 is the hardest.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, but as you're playing it, you get boosted XP. So, like, 1 star is just... It's interesting because 1 star is low level of the aliens. So you don't get any of the big bad boys.
Okay, so you get like kind of rank and file stuff with maybe like 1 medium difficulty guy in there?
Not even medium difficulty on the 1st star.
Okay.
On the 2nd star, it's rank and file and maybe 1 or 2, but there is a 25% chance that a mutation will occur. And a couple of weeks ago, our mutation was, there's a guy called like an Earthquaker or whatever, and he's invincible the whole set of these 3 rooms that you're going through, or 3 areas that you're going through.
Sure. And
you cannot kill him.
Interesting.
So have fun with that and try and avoid him showing up at any point, please.
Right.
And so I was like, then 3-star is like, I think it's a 50% chance or 100% chance of a mutation happening, and you get higher level enemies.
Okay.
So we went in, and all of a sudden there was this thing called an apex, and it's like, what the hell is an apex?
I don't like the sound of that.
Nope. And it was an elite enemy mission. So we just ended up with getting overrun instantaneously.
Oh, jeez.
We didn't last 6 minutes. It was ridiculous. So then we went in the same level again on a much lower difficulty, so we could go grab our people and drag them out this time instead.
Right.
But we had a couple of really good runs. We got a whole bunch of XP. I'm still annoyed that game has points of interest that you can only interact with in single player mode, which is the dumbest decision I've ever really heard.
Does it play like a cutscene or an audio log or something?
Literally just a 2-line audio description. Not even an audio log, just a 2-line audio description.
That's weird.
Saints Row 3 had audio logs that you could collect and it would play at the same time on both people's...
Right.
Like, this is a solved problem. Why is this an issue?
Right. I mean, Ubisoft only has like 600 people working on every game, so what are you going to do?
600 is probably an understatement.
It's probably in the 4 digits now, because how many Ubisoft studios show up in the intro credits of that game? So got to be at least 3.
I skip them every single time because that game starts with a cutscene every time you load her up as well. I'm pretty sure it's got a million logos at the bottom about all of the studios, but I just ignore it.
Looks like it's a Ubisoft Montreal game.
I think that's the Siege team, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so.
But, whatever. It's Extraction. It's fun. We could really do with a third person who's not sleeping to join in on these harder difficulties. Not throwing shade. I'm not throwing shade.
Hey, everybody's got to sleep sometime.
Everybody does. But no, I had a good time with that. And my final game this week in...
Sorry, hold on. I didn't realize that Ubisoft Montreal is like the Ubisoft. Splinter Cell, Rainbow Six, Far Cry, all of them, Assassin's Creed, all of them, Watch Dogs, For Honor, Hyperscape. So, like, all of Ubisoft.
So the question is, though, is that games they made or they helmed, or is that just games they worked on?
Because... It says they're the principal developer, so I feel like it's like the lead team, like the nucleus, and then all around. For all we know,
principal developer might mean 3 people on a whiteboard.
Yeah, I mean, probably. And then Ubisoft Shanghai is getting pulled in for this thing, and Ubisoft Dallas is making some multiplayer maps or something. I don't know.
There's a Dallas?
I'm assuming there's a Ubisoft Dallas. They got their tendrils all over the world.
All I know is that Sony closed the most important studio they have ever had, which was Studio Liverpool, aka the Wipeout devs. So
good. R.I.P. Psygnosis.
I have a funny story about talking to one of those people at one point in my previous job, but whatever. But yeah, so Rainbow Six Extraction is fine. My final game is Narita Boy.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, Narita Boy is interesting as all kinds of hell, and I only just realized I have 4 days left to beat this game.
No pressure.
And I just got to a point where I unlocked a whole new bunch of mechanics as well. Like, the game is just giving me a whole bunch more mechanics. I just made it, I think I might have mentioned it previously, but I just made it to the yellow world. So that means I only have 2 more worlds to go.
Okay.
But I don't know how big the worlds are, is the problem.
Right.
So...
2 more worlds left, and they're open world collectathons. It's like, oh no.
Don't just stop. Oh, no. Don't ever say that word.
Don't curse again, me.
Please. Don't say open world collectathon around an achievement hunter, because that's like literally nightmare fuel.
Yep.
I go to bed and then I wake up and like, oh, the pigeons in the Grand Theft Auto remake.
So many icons.
Assassin's Creed Unity.
I can only open the chests from the app.
From Facebook, dude. They had Facebook specific chests.
I forgot they had the Facebook ones.
Get the hell away from me.
They had the app ones, they had the Facebook ones, they had the red ones, they had... Gosh.
It was stupid. But Narita Boy continues to be really interesting. I just got a whole bunch of new abilities. I got a shoulder bash, so I can deal with people with shields now, which is okay. Sure. I don't know, the game seems fine. Very derivative of Tron, if you didn't listen to last week's show or read the show title.
All the way homage.
Yes. The music is pretty solid. The story is kind of fine. The combat is okay. The platforming the combat and the platforming got okay to above average. Like in some cases, way above average. I don't know if it's just me sometimes being a little bit weird with the controls. But I don't know. It's like I'm enjoying it, but at the same time, it's like I don't know if I want to go back to it or not. But I don't know if that's because I've been working too much and have no time to go back to it, or a simple case of like it's stupid, but I'm feeling the weight of the video game industry weighing me down right now, where it's like, well, I've got these 5 games I need to play before the end of the year. I definitely need to hit Dying Light 2 and Elden Ring.
Consume.
You're
not consuming fast enough.
Where's my glasses?
That's right.
No, but instead I'm working so I can try and consume, and it's just not working out in my favor at all.
Right.
But now, Narita Boy is good. I'm enjoying it, and I would say give it a shot if you're interested in it. And I'm pretty sure it's probably like 15, $20 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be honest, like all of my thinking about video games, I haven't even started Tunic yet, which is the
Mm-hmm.
Game Club game. All of my thinking about video games have gone into Dreamscaper, which is the current Wii roguelike game. That's patreon.com/E1M1.
That's right. The ones are numbers.
Thank you. Go listen to the Wii roguelike episodes on that and give it a go.
It's on Game Pass. Yeah.
That is definitely worth your time.
Yeah. 100%.
So go give that a shot. Let me know what you think. Hit us up in the Patronus Discord or whatever. Other than that, that's all I've been playing. I have no time.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time this week playing Dreamscaper, which, like we talked about in episode 168, both of us sort of lost a lot of time this week to Dreamscaper unexpectedly, which is probably the best review you can give a game. Is like, I start playing it and then whoops, it's hours later.
By the way, May 10th is ZHP.
May 10th. Okay, I think it was originally supposed to be out now-ish, but I think it got delayed a little bit. Also, speaking of losing a bunch of time to a game, I finished Tunic, and also 100%ed it. I still have. There's a set of collectibles I can go get that don't think I'm going to do. I like finding them. I like solving the puzzle. I just don't want to do it. So, and it's not because it's bad or anything. I just feel like I need to be done with Tunic before I maybe. I'm always cognizant of the fact that maybe I'll play something so much that I start hating it, and I definitely don't want to do that with Tunic. Also, don't want to spoil anything because not only is it still a brand new game, but Moon has not started it yet, so I don't want to spoil anything. I think it's hilarious that I completely missed a usable game item until after I beat the game. That I just didn't find this cave that I could have gone into to scoop up this item, which is very much me.
Yes.
For the final puzzle in the game, I did have to break out a pen and a large piece of paper to solve it out. I wrote on Twitter, I didn't look anything up in this game throughout the entirety, and I managed to get like the final puzzle solved all by myself, which I feel really good about. It's largely because this game's pacing is impeccable. Like, it manages to give you the instruction manual page you need at exactly the right time to then kind of like unlock a bunch of stuff where you look at it and you're like, oh my god, I could have done X, Y, and Z over in ABC, and like all right, let's get over there. Like, let's go do this stuff. And it's exciting to get one of these pages and start looking at it and start like zooming in and digging in all the details. We're like, okay, what's going on with this page? Like, what is it telling me? Where can I use this information at? And how can I use that to unlock new areas or new abilities or stuff like that?
Yeah.
I'm very purposely trying not to spoil anything because I think, like we talked about, my comparisons to both Fez and Witness are both very apt for two different reasons. And I will double down on those comparisons. Obviously not from a gameplay standpoint, because it's still Zelda Dark Souls. Also had no idea that there was an accessibility menu with God mode in there. So if you were struggling with some of the bosses in the game that get genuinely pretty hard, go turn that guy on.
That's good.
But I get that same sense that I got from Fez, which is you kind of turn a corner, you get a new thing, you see something that's out of your reach, or you see something like the camera. The thing that I like about this game is the thing that I liked about Death's Door, where it has a fixed camera perspective, and it uses that perspective to its advantage, where sometimes you're like kind of walking off of the map and you're like, oh, this sort of looks like a place. You like walk off the map and there's another treasure chest for you. That sort of fun discovery stuff is the stuff that I really like, along with kind of paging through the instruction manual and trying to dig out all the secrets there. And that's not to say that the game isn't fun to play, because it is genuinely a super well playing game. I liked the combat. I liked, it has a really solid lock on system. I wish it was a little easier to switch between targets when you're locked on. I never felt like usually when you have a lock on, so you're like holding one of the triggers and you're strafing with the left stick, and usually you switch between targets with the right stick, and it works in this game, but it never kind of felt natural to me. I feel like when I want to switch between targets with the right stick, I want it to always kind of pan between targets in a direction. So like if I flick it to the right, I want it to move to the next enemy on the right, kind of no matter where they are. And it sort of never felt that natural through the entire time I was playing it. But
Yeah.
Super minor complaint, and all things considered. I really wish I could talk more about Tunic.
That's kind of one of the reasons why you're so hyped that we're doing a game club on it, to be honest.
Like a game club / spoiler cast is essentially what we're going to be doing, because like I want to talk about that final puzzle. I recommend people that are playing it play through until you get all of the instruction manual pages. You'll get an achievement for it when you do get all of them, and you'll kind of know it by that point. Because I feel like that final puzzle is so strong, and solving that puzzle and going and doing it feels really, really, really good. I don't think I can say more about it without spoiling it. I want to be extra cautious of not spoiling it. As I think one of the parts that I'm frustrated by is it's only available on PC and Xbox. So if you only have like a PS5 or you only have a Switch, which a lot of people, especially on the Switch, they're only going to have that. It's not there right now. And I would hope that people would be really cool about spoilers on this, but I feel like we're probably like a week or two out before people are like, here's the ending to Tunic, here's the solution to X, Y, and Z puzzles. Like, not knowing that, the developer, if you read between the lines, it seems very much like console launch exclusive. That sort of language is being used. So maybe in 6 months or to a year, they'll start popping up on other platforms. Hopefully it comes to Switch, because I think it could do really well over there. But yeah, Tunic is really good, really great. I'm really glad it came to Game Pass. I was going to drop $30 on it anyway. If it comes to PS5, I'll be dropping $30 on it over there. Or maybe not. Look at our news stories. But I go play Tunic. It's really, really good, and I can recommend it even more now that I know it has kind of a God mode, kind of invincibility thing. There's a bunch of settings under there that you can kind of tune, like how much damage you do, how much damage enemies do, and stuff like that, so they could make the game a little bit more accessible. But yes.
And also, I'll be honest, it's good to hear about this kind of game that has been talked upwards a lot. Mm-hmm. How everybody, even with the minimal information, how everyone is super excited for it. Mm-hmm. And then it comes out, it drops, and it's great. Like,
I've been waiting for this
12
game.
minutes is the exact opposite kind of thing.
Well, yeah, if you want the polar opposite of, like, I've been waiting for Tunic. I've been talking about it for probably about 5 years. I think it's been being actively shown for about the last 5 years. And for it to come out and be way better than I was hoping is really, really exciting.
Mhm.
And seeing so many people playing it and giving it a shot is makes me feel really great. And it was made by such a small team, made by one single developer for a really, really long time until he kind of realized he was in over his head. It's really very remarkable. I think it's great. I love Tunic, and I think it only took me like 10, 12 hours to 100% it. Like it's really
Mhm.
not a super super duper long game, which I think is great. It doesn't need to be a 40-hour thing. I can go play Horizon Forbidden West for that, which is a game I probably should get back to. Uh, cough cough cough. Um, but that's
Yeah, I got
all I've
some
been.
stuff on that game spoiled for me this week, and it's like, cool. Now I have the first game and the second game all spoiled for me.
Boy,
Great.
thanks, Internet. Yeah, that's a little bit what I'm a little bit worried about. I have to like. There's this mission called Death's Door that I need to go do, which someone said that is like from a storyline perspective is a really important um, mission. So I feel like I just need to kind of go do that and get that done, so people don't spoil stuff for me. Actually, I spent a lot of time on Twitter, and a lot of people just don't care about spoilers or hashtags or anything like that, which is a real bummer. Or even just using the game's name in the tweet, which would be helpful for things that are spoiled, where they're like, "Oh, I totally did this thing and that thing, and here's this big secret." And I was like, "Oh, I'm playing that too. Okay, cool. Thanks for good, 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 good." But yeah, between Dreamscaper and Tunic, that's all I played this week. So let's take a break.
Yep.
Oh, news stories. Let's check the news here real quick, just so make sure there isn't anything like late breaking. Modder adds Elden Ring's message system to Fallout New Vegas. Great. Love it. 2 thumbs up.
This guy's a liar. Everybody
Fortnite
in Las
Fortnite
Vegas.
players have now raised over $70 million for Ukraine. So if you want to see how much money Fortnite makes on like a weekly basis, they have raised over $70 million for Ukraine in a week just by taking a fraction of the proceeds from Fortnite sales. Among Us servers have been down for 48 hours due to a DDoS attack. I have actually not seen this. Well, that's a bummer. We have a sabotage going on, LOL. What's the official message? That's so good. Man, that's a bummer. Inner Sloths jokingly responded the culprits were, quote, salty over being ejected, end quote. That's great. Good job, Inner Sloth.
Well, of course.
All right, that looks like all the news stories we have.
And of course, you summoned her, so she has arrived. Just so you know.
Louise!
Unless she jumped up on the bed. Nope, she's at the feet. Come on.
Ascend, Louise. There we go.
Hi. How can I help?
Bothered by
Literally just
hunger.
woke up.
All right, just gonna tuck in there and just kind of take a nap. There we go. That's the stuff. Tiny little loaf of bread.
Uh-huh.
Still half asleep. Real good.
She does this thing, like when I lived in a bigger place, she'd do this thing where she'd fall asleep like on the couch or in eyesight line of me.
Mm-hmm.
And then if she woke up and I wasn't there, she would just meow as loud as she could to try and figure out where the hell I was.
Echolocating you.
Uh-huh.
Oh, licking the beard. There we go. That's the stuff. All right, you ready to do this second segment here?
Uh-huh.
It'll probably turn into our shortest episode ever, but that's okay. They don't all have to be 2 hours.
Nope.
That's critical misses. LOL. No, not kidding. Season 12, episode 5, that was like 2 hours long.
Yes.
Oh, man. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of March 28th, 2022. Crusader Kings 3 comes out on PS5 and Series X. This came out on PC last year. I think it was kind of late last year. People seem to really like this. So I'm not kind of interested. I like Stellaris, which Paradox makes. But I haven't ever played a Crusader Kings game, so maybe this is the time. Why not sink another 100 hours into another 4X game?
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
from what I understand, this is the Yakuza 0 of the Crusader Kings series, where it just suddenly clicked, and everybody's like, "This is great."
I love Dynasties! I was like, yeah, man. Me too.
Oh,
WRC 10 comes out on the Switch. This is the rally racing game.
World Rally Championship. Thank you very much.
There you go. 10. Comes out on the Switch. I know literally nothing about these, so hopefully that means something to those of you that like
They
rally
are
racing.
usually, if it's used to be, these are the ones that are made by Gridmasters.
I think so.
I don't know if they still do, and Gridmasters make some sick driving games, so it's usually
true.
pretty solid games.
Yeah, who makes this now? Kyloton and KT Racing.
I don't even know who they are.
I don't either. Hopefully someone out there is like, yeah, Kyloton's making it again. Woo! So,
Hopefully.
good on you. Death Stranding Director's Cut coming out on PC, which means it's another time for Kojima to come out and be like, it's not a Director's Cut. They just called it that. It's not cut. It's like, yes, I know. It's like calling
It's
a game
more stuff.
Yeah, just like calling a game of the Year edition. It didn't win Game of the Year. Come on.
No, it did, but it was from welovevideogames.org.us.adu.
.xyz, yeah. So you haven't played Death Stranding. At least Moon and I really liked it a lot for reasons that maybe we had trouble communicating, but it is a really good game. It's a
Kojima game. So if
yeah,
you like
it's
Kojima,
an experience.
Then,
Yeah. Moss Book 2 comes out on PSVR. One of the games that I wish I had a PSVR for, because the first Moss game looked really great. Like that and Astrobot were like the games I really wanted for PSVR.
and Resident Evil 7. I know.
Naturally. So I'm excited this is getting a sequel, because it felt like one of those games that everybody loved, and it was like, yeah, it didn't make us any money, so, whatever. It's never coming out. So excited to see that come out. Last but not least, Weird West comes out. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and PC. This is that kind of really thick, kind of cel-shaded, Devolver Digital, Western, top-down RPG shooter thing that they showed last year.
It looks like it's got a little bit of the old school Fallout in there.
Yeah. That's a really good example. This one looks really good. I think this is one of those ones to watch. Obviously, most of us, if you're listening to the show, you're probably watching Devolver stuff anyway, because it tends to be, if not good, at least unique.
Yes.
I think when you look at Weird West, you're like, yeah, that's definitely never seen another one of those. So also reminds me of I should play West of Loathing again, because man, West of Loathing is really good.
It really is.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to news stories. CD Projekt Red announces they're working on a new Witcher game, which
Sorry, I love the fact that you messed up your show notes.
I put these under questions. Questions from Google. I keep doing that. I don't know what's going on with me. They are being very explicit. This is not Witcher 4. So I feel like they're maybe setting up for like, hey, if Geralt isn't the main character.
They are 100% setting that up, and they
Yeah.
are 100% getting ready to deal with the Mass Effect 3 ending backlash that they're going to get.
I feel like if they make Ciri the playable character, that will probably soothe the angry nerds. But I feel like they're probably not going to.
I hate to say this, but the first thing I saw this, I opened the tweet to see if there was any more information. The very first comment was, Cool. Glad to see them making a new Witcher game. Oh, sorry. Glad to see they're making Witcher 4, which
Right. Wrong. Bam,
uh-huh.
bam.
Also, this game should be one of the games of the generation as long as they don't put any LGBTQ plus people in the game. It's like,
Bam, bam. 2 strikes. You want to go for a third?
it's like, okay,
Cancel
block.
culture. Bam, bam, bam.
Where is that super block thing again? So I can just put your name in this and then everybody you follow.
I use Mega Nuke a lot lately. It's really good. It's really great.
I'm sorry, but those characters also exist in The Witcher 3 and The Witcher 2.
Right.
And
the books.
And the show.
Yeah. And Henry Cavill is a real life human who really likes The Witcher. I think the thing that's most important here is they're not going to be using their own engine this time. They're going to be making the switch to Unreal Engine 5.
Good.
Yes. I feel like a lot of people online being like, oh yeah, really? Like genuinely wondering why. And I was like, did you miss last year with Cyberpunk?
Cyberpunk is the general feeling.
Like, you got to give Cyberpunk or CD Projekt Red credit for trying to make their own engine. Just didn't work, man. Like, just use Unreal Engine. That's probably the thing you're looking for when you're looking to spin a giant open world third-person hack and slash RPG.
Yeah, I think
and put it on multiple platforms.
Yeah, I think about the resources you don't need to spend building your own engine.
Right. And I would assume Epic would probably give a publisher developer like CD Projekt Red a lot of support. I mean, like that's safe to assume. So to me, that is, as someone who liked Witcher 3, I'm pretty excited about another Witcher thing. It's not going to release for like at a minimum of 5 years if we're going to be if we're going to be generous. But it makes me feel better that it seems like they're kind of swallowing their lumps a little bit here and saying like, all right, Cyberpunk was not it wasn't the home run that I think everybody was assuming it was going to be. Also, it's really funny that person is like, I hope they don't put any LGBTQ stuff in there. And I was like, that's also all of Cyberpunk. Like, you have not played any of these games at all. Yep. So it's going to be pretty interesting. All they released was like, yo, we're working on it, and a teaser image. So we're not seeing this for a long time. There was a really interesting article recently. I don't think it was from Waypoint. I don't remember who it was. But they wrote an article about like, why are publishers and studios announcing stuff like 8 years too early? It was around. No, it was actually around a Star Wars game. I don't remember which of the 15 Star Wars games are in development right now.
Probably Fallen Order 2 would be my guess.
Might be, yeah. But it was hiring. Because if people are like, hey, come to Ubisoft, San Francisco for a new game, and you're like, I don't know if I want, Star Wars game? Yeah, okay, I could probably apply to work on a Star Wars game. Yeah, sure.
That's literally how the new Splinter Cell game was announced.
Right.
We're hiring. Psst, it's for Splinter Cell.
Right. Do you like night vision goggles? You get to work on them. So I thought that was... That's right.
Noise.
So I feel like that was interesting, and I feel like that was maybe kind of timely around this Witcher conversation of like, hey man, do you want to work on like the next big Witcher game and not like the Gwent or the Throne, what is it? Not Throne World, Thronebreaker or whatever. Like some of the other spin-off stuff. Like, do you want to work on like the big boy? Not Witcher 4. It's not Geralt. Don't worry about that. But I thought that was kind of interesting, especially for this, where it's like, we're working on this. Please come work for us. This can go.
I'm sorry. I just thought of the best shade ever.
Yeah.
If Sony announces this in like some like showcase event or whatever, Xbox should retweet the link to it and just say, I am Spartacus. And then Nintendo should do the same thing.
I am Spartacus. CD Projekt Red's like, I don't get the joke. I'm Spartacus. It's like, yeah. So this is the rumored kind of combination of PS Plus and PS Now with the sort of added layer of demos, which is like a hilariously missing the mark thing. But
Demos
also,
used to be free, Boston.
I know, and now we have the best demo, which is just Game Pass. Um, uh, Along with the rumor has always been like PS1 through PS3 games. Um, Bloomberg is reporting that Sony is going to kind of announce a large lineup of recent hit games. And the rumor is still suggesting that kind of 3-tier service, with the highest tier being around $16 a month. PS Plus right now is $60 a year, and Game Pass is $10 a month. So you're asking quite a bit more. The thing I was really looking for out of this rumor from Bloomberg was, are you competing 1-to-1 with Game Pass, and like God of War Ragnarok is coming out day one if you're paying $16 a month, and Magic 8 Ball is still saying ask me again later.
No, it's not, dude. The Magic 8 Ball is saying looks unlikely. Come on.
I wrote here parenthetically, I think it's safe to assume it won't have brand new games on their first party because Sony.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like you can make the assumption and say like God of War Ragnarok isn't going to be on there. You're not going to buy it and sign up for it and you got to play Horizon Forbidden West. You should, because it has worked out incredibly well for Microsoft. Especially if you can stream these games. Like if you can, I'm not assuming that Sony's going to have the same level of streaming technology that Microsoft is going to, but Microsoft has done such a great thing with the Xbox One family of consoles being able to stream at 4K running on better hardware for the brand new games.
Yeah.
I'm not going to assume.
To be honest, like even the streaming service through the Game Pass app is some quality stuff.
Mm-hmm. And now you can do it on the web and like the Xbox app and Windows. Like you can stream from a whole bunch of different places.
Yeah, like I literally have been using my tablet that I do my show notes on.
Mm-hmm.
I've been using that to stream Game Pass games and play them when I'm not at home.
Sure. And I mean, that's the hardest part is we've done a lot of praising of Microsoft, especially with their technology, the auto HDR, the quick resume, smart delivery, like you're playing stuff back from the original Xbox, like upscaled to 4K with HDR. Like that shouldn't be possible, and it all just kind of functions the way you would want it to. And I think Sony is really on the back foot here because not only are they coming to the game super late, like Sony's in a weird spot because the PS5 is still selling incredibly well, PS4 is still selling incredibly well, and Sony games are selling really well. I think a lot of them on the strength of their just single player games, which Microsoft is doing too. Like that's no shade against Microsoft. But I think when you look at Microsoft, if you buy an Xbox, the answer to what should I play next is just go buy Game Pass and download some stuff. Like the attach rate and the recommendation for what you should do or check out is super easy because it's like, subscribe to Game Pass, go check out the app. What do you think looks cool? Just try it.
Yeah,
stream it before you download it either.
Not to mention, like even all of the Microsoft like first party stuff that is on there.
Yep.
The even bigger library of that will be on there.
Yep. Like day and date, like Starfield is going to be coming out day and date on Xbox. Like that's huge. Like there's so much stuff. So when you're looking at a proposed Sony platform, whatever Spartacus is going to be, whatever it's going to be called, it seems like a monumental challenge to announce this when Game Pass feels like stealing games. Like
yeah, it still does.
It feels like it still feels like, especially $10 a month. It's just like, here's hundreds of games, and there's every brand new game we put out, which we have like half of the studios in the industry. So, you need day and date, no big deal. Like it's just it. Sony has to come out with something that is like blows Game Pass out of the water, and I think that's a nearly impossible thing to do.
Yeah.
Which it might be okay, because I think if you look at PS1, 2, and 3 games, if you do that in a smart way, aka not how Nintendo does it, I think you could genuinely have a real good hit on your hands, because then you could play 5 generations of Sony games on your PS5. Because PS4 backwards compatibility works really great, except for one game. That's the only game that it's Dungeon of the Endless, and I'm the only weirdo that wants to play that. But like, if you can, obviously the big complaint about how Nintendo does backwards compatibility is like, here's 4 games, 3 of them suck. It's just like, well, crap.
But here's my question though, like, and don't get me wrong, I agree, like the PlayStation has one of the best libraries that exists, period.
Especially PS1 and PS2, like just
That's
hundreds of incredible games.
How many platforms did Sony kill with those libraries?
Exactly.
Like, you're looking, the N64 barely got a look in because of those platforms. The Saturn barely got a look in because of those platforms.
Yep.
And then it legitimately killed the Dreamcast.
Right.
So,
yep.
you know, they are literal platform killers. And my question is, do Sony have the work ethic? Do they have the ethic to get off their executive chairs and go do the deals that need to be done to get some of the biggest names? Or are they just going to start? Because if you're talking about specifically Sony first party things, these days, Sony first party is a force to be reckoned with. PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, not so much.
Yeah, like a lot more of a spottier release quality, where it's like, yeah, you got some really good stuff, but you know, if you liked RPGs, and especially on PS1 and PS2, like you were eating really well. But I feel like that's the other sort of elephant in the room, is like Square Enix was a large part of PS1 and PS2, and they usually don't want to play because they want to release their stuff in a remake
for $20.
Yeah, like a remake, a remaster, something, some sort of collection. They don't want to put out Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9, the original version, on a Sony platform anymore, which is their right, but like...
And Capcom are going to want to play games with the fighting games when they're just putting out their multi-platform collection.
That big collection thing, yep.
Konami sure as hell isn't going to want to play.
Konami doesn't want to do anything. Like,
like, they're not going to want to get involved. You know, I mean, does Sony technically own Escape, or is that somebody else? Like,
sure, yeah, and like that's sort of some of the big questions. Is like, obviously Sony would be able to put a whole bunch of their own stuff out there, but you know, are you interested in playing Jumping Flash and Loaded? Maybe. But is that the stuff you're going to stick with, as opposed to some of the really cool PS2 stuff that maybe you're really looking for? You know, are you going to get the Tony Hawk games on PS1 and PS2 with the same music? Right. And like with the same music, because that's another consideration. You know, like...
And, like, do you want to go out and get Tenchu? From releasing some of the biggest video games on the planet this year, apparently. Like, because I totally forgot that Tenchu was a From Software game.
Yeah. And From would probably be like, yeah, what about Sekiro? Tenchu, what? No big deal. We got a cool ninja game over here. Yeah.
You can't get Wipeout because Wipeout has already been remastered so many times.
That's a music licensing hell, too. Like,
yep. Parappa the Rapper.
Yeah, I mean, they did a remaster of that seems like it was
probably wasn't great.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah.
Silent Hill. Guess what? Konami again. Tekken. Guess what?
Yeah.
Resident Evil. Capcom. Not going to want to play.
Yeah, it's like all these famous kind of PS1, PS2 games are tough to release. Like it's just sort of a tough thing to do. So it's really rough because it seems like Microsoft has largely done a good job on their end because they're doing all the work. I think they can go to publishers and say, like, look, we can do all the work to get this game running on Xbox, and everybody can play it, and you'll get a cut of whatever, and no big deal. Like, you don't have to do anything. And it would be nice if Sony was going to do that, but I don't think that's historically been what Sony's been doing. So I hope that I hope we see Spartacus this week. I hope we can kind of see what Sony's going to unveil and how they're going to market it, and see what the price is. I'm probably in either way because I'm a subscriber to PS Plus and PS Now at the same time, which is very expensive, Sony. So you can smush the two of them together for $16 a month. I'm probably going to be saving money anyway. But it seems like an impossible hill to beat Game Pass, and I wonder if they're even trying to do that anymore, because it seems like that's not the play.
Oh.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll find out this week, so maybe tune in next week. Speaking of, that's the end of this week's episode. Thank you for listening. Visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page, including the Discord server, like we talked about earlier, and a link to the Patreon page, patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones are numbers.
Talked about all the cool stuff you get at the beginning. If you'd like to sign up, that helps me pay for the show. And eventually, as we kind of get bigger, hopefully that affords us the opportunity to buy more hardware. My microphone over here is a little long in the tooth, still doing okay. But
Your microphone is long in the tooth? Your microphone?
Yeah, your one traveled across an ocean. Mine just traveled across land.
By sea or by land, Boston. By sea or by land.
That's right. So I've been eyeing the Elgato Wave XLR and a Shure SM7B recently.
Of course you have. Of course you have.
My voice would sound pretty good with an SM7B. It really would. You can go support the show over at the Patreon page. If you want to know where all of your hard-earned money goes, I'm transparent about where all the stuff goes and what everything costs. Big shout out to Libsyn. We've been with them for now almost 15 years running. They've never steered us wrong, and they've been great. You can find all of that at patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones are numbers.
If you can't support us financially, totally understand. The best way to support us is by sharing stuff, rating us 5 stars wherever you listen, liking videos on YouTube. Again, we don't talk about the YouTube channel too much, but the stream archive of this goes up every week, along with Critical Misses and We Roguelike It and Game Club and all that stuff we shoot video for at the same time. And the best way to help us and any other show you watch or live stream or YouTube channel or whatever is share it on social media and tell your friends. Word of mouth is always the best way to share your support. It's the best way to show support for anything you enjoy, especially this show. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
My ear has been so itchy all day. Gosh. I didn't write down any titles.
Really? None at all?
I totally was in the zone, man. I was in the Tunic zone.
Okay.
Now I gotta buy another domain, tunic.zone.
Cal.zone, dude. Cal.zone.
Oh, man. Did someone buy that cal.zone?
Probably. Come on. And
it's available for...
How many digits? 5 digits?
$19,888. You too can have cal.zone. Why doesn't Pizza Hut or Domino's or something have that?
I don't know. Oh, Five Guys with their cal.pizzone insanity or whatever it is.
Yeah. That seems like $20,000 seems like even Papa John probably has that money.
Yeah, it's a drop of water for those people.
That's right.
Or a drop of cheese sauce.
Garlic dipping sauce, please.
Mm-hmm. No, get that garlic straight on the bread, heat it up, and then put it in my mouth. Thank you.
That's true.
Okay. Comic book numbering.
Mm-hmm.
New TVGP number 001.
Okay.
Black Sugar Water. Only 600 people. 3 people on a whiteboard. Questions from Google. Did you miss Cyberpunk? Question mark. Do you like night vision goggles? Demos used to be free, and Tunic.zone. I know you really want to do new TVGP 001, don't you?
I wrote that one as my kind of front runner here. Any other ones you kind of clicking with?
Honestly, not so much. I like 3 people on a whiteboard.
Mm-hmm. That one's a real good non sequitur.
But I think it has to be new TVGP 001. Also, mostly because I want to see how you get through saying this madness.
I'm gonna circle it. Oh man.
And I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay. Send my wife a text, but I will wait. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 753 from March 28th, 2022. New TVGP number 001.
I better start producing kids.
All right, thank you very much, everyone, for watching, for listening. And some like noir lighting going on here right now, like smoking. You took all my money, detective. All right, see you next week. Bye.